There it is. What's happening? Welcome back to the channel. So I've been working on the square body wrecker, and I've had a little dilemma here with the truck. I bought a aftermarket Chinesium radiator off of eBay, which I've bought many of these aftermarket aluminum fabricated radiators. I've had pretty good luck with them. There's a handful of guys that say they're garbage and they run hot. Honestly, I've never had a problem with one. But anyway, I bought it because it was $100. It's a 3-row. This truck's only got a small block in it. And I thought, you know what, this is a cheaper solution to the plastic aluminum one that you get with the plastic tanks, because they're about 140 bucks. So I thought, I'll try this thing. All right, not a problem. Now, I also did go with electric fans and the fan shroud. The radiator was 100 bucks. This whole fan shroud with the fans, wiring, and a relay was like 85 bucks. Now, the reason I went with that was this truck was, when I purchased this truck, it was missing everything. When I say everything, there was no fan shroud, there was no radiator, the motor was out of this truck. That's how I bought it. Actually, what's kind of funny about it is when I bought this truck, I bought it from a buddy of mine. So I actually took the motor out of the truck for him. So I kept all the bolts and all the hardware, but he needed the fan shroud, he needed the radiator and the motor for another truck he was fixing. So, well, we got that out of the way. You understand why it was missing. I did, however, manage to get a couple of the original radiator mounts that go here. The problem I was having is they don't fit. They never fit worth a crap when they were brand new. But the problem I was having was, with these on there, it doesn't fit the tank because the tank is kind of square. So the original rubber, as you can see, just does not fit the tank. No problem. We'll buy a new set of rubbers. These actually fit better. Problem is, this factory metal clamp doesn't hold downward enough. Now this clamp also needs to, for this clamp to work correctly, it needs a fan shroud bolted to it right there. So the fan shroud bolts to the bottom of the radiator support, bolts to this, and that kind of helps hold it all together. It's a really crappy design on these trucks. It always was. But the radiator just kept wanting to fall forward. So the solution I came up with, which I think is pretty genius, really, and it's using all GM parts on top of it. I'm using this piece right here. This is off of 68 to 72 Chevy pickup. C10, C20, C30, you got me. Bolt holes line up exactly with the factory holes that are in the rad support. Now what I had to do was, let's see here. Let me turn this around and get a better look closer. You'll see right here, I had to get rid of this lip right here. So if we go over here to the passenger side, you can see there's where it's going to bolt up. So I had to take this piece here right out. So I just gently trimmed this out, and it allowed for this new one, or used one, to sit flat. And now it holds our radiator nice and tight. It fits across here real nice. The rubber, that little piece right there is actually the rubber. So the metal's not on the tank, the rubber's on the tank. And it fits really good. So now I have to do the other side. But now that'll hold our radiator really nice in the truck. So it looks kind of factory. Now, I was at a car show yesterday, and of course I was eyeballing all kinds of good stuff. There was a guy there that had a square body Chevy, beautiful truck, LS in it, turbo, real nice piece. And I noticed he had a radiator bracket that went from here all the way across, so it covered all this up. Real nice piece. He didn't know where it came from, so I took a bunch of pictures, and later on last night I did a little digging. I found out Holly makes one, but it's like 80 bucks. And I was like, man, I really want to do that. So this morning I got up and I came out in the shop and was digging through my bucket of junk in there, and I found a set of these. And I set them on the tank. I was like, man, these fit the tank perfect. Then I noticed that the holes lined up. I was like, oh, this is even better. Because I was getting ready to fab up something to hold these on. I was going to make something all together. I was going to make my own. But then when I found a set of these, there we go. Now, you might be asking yourself, why didn't I put the factory fan back on this truck? when I purchased this truck a few months ago from a buddy of mine, this was a run and driving truck. He needed the motor, the radiator, the fan shroud. He needed everything under the hood to put in a rollback that he bought with no motor. That's why he was selling this truck. Then I bought the truck, and I decided I'm putting the truck back together. Now I've gone a little crazy. We've got all new front sheet metal. These are new fenders. This is a new rad support. The reason these are pulled over is I just put brand new inner fender wells in, brand new battery tray. I mean, all the sheet metal on the front of this truck is new. The hood is not that old, but some idiot prior to my buddy owning it plastic dipped it, so he didn't want the hood. It is a cow hood, so I got to finish getting all this plastic dipped crap off. But it's a really solid, nice square body Chevy. So the plan for this truck is just to make, you know, I collect tow trucks and I'm into these old trucks. I grew up around these trucks when I was younger. So I kind of wanted a hot rod, but I wanted it to be usable. So since this was a nice solid truck, we're going to make this truck a driver, kind of a hot rod, but we'll still be able to use it. Now, you're not going to be able to tow a late model car like that with this wrecker. This is a sling style wrecker, but you can go after pickup trucks, you can go after junk, you know, stuff with a real bumper on it, you can tow with it. But I enjoy going to a lot of these car shows and these truck shows, but I'm always taking, you know, a pickup truck or something else. I'd like to be able to take something that I'm really into. Not that I'm not into the other stuff too, but so down the road, and I'm saying down the road, probably next year, once I get the other wrecker that's in there done, I'm going to LS swap this truck. So I'm going to do a 5.3 with a turbo and kind of really make it cool. But that's down the road. The reason I used this motor was I had this motor. It's a long story behind this motor, but this motor I bought to put in that van, and that motor actually ended up having an issue, so I ended up going through that motor, and I put a different motor in the van, and we don't even use the van, but that's a story for another day. So when I moved down here, this motor was just wrapped up on a stand, complete. This was all, I already had this thing running on the engine stand and everything, so this I already knew ran. So when I bought this truck, I went, ooh, I got a motor, complete. So this runs, and I've got full exhaust on it, so it's all done. So as of right now, as I'm talking to you, I have about $1,500 in this truck. Not counting my labor, throw the labor out the window. But between buying the truck and the parts I have in the truck, we got all new front brakes on the truck. Like I said, all new front sheet metal, radiator. I got all the hoses. Just got to finish putting it together. I got to order. I'm going to do all the rear brakes. I'm going to make a couple brake lines down the frame rail. And then we're going to paint the truck a flat green. We're going to use hot rod flats, flat dark green. I don't know what color we're going to paint the boom just yet. I'm thinking like a flat gold, because I think I'm going to do the lettering in like a gold with a black background or something is what I'm thinking. I think that'll go good with the green. The reason I'm doing green is that Dodge is a tow truck as well, which I've shared on the channel before. It's green. And then I have a 52 Chevy pickup out in the driveway. It's green. That's why we're going green. But in my state, if it's stock, you can tag it antique. So as long as we got this little stock V8 Chevy in there, it's just a stock truck. And right now I don't want to get into a full-blown LS swap in this truck right now, because it's just going to cost me so much more money. So I like to use what I have, get it running, get it driving, get all the other bugs worked out, all the lights, all that crap working. Then we'll do the LS swap. LS swap's not hard. It's kind of cool. And I want to get this thing up and running, and then we're going to get back on this 76 F350 wrecker that I've done the Crown Vic swap in. Crown Vic front suspension's in it. We've done a lot of work to this truck. But today's video is just kind of a small little video showing what I did to correct. I shouldn't say correct, just what I found works with the aftermarket aluminum fabricated radiators. Because your tank is square, it's not really rounded like your original radiator would be. So, and I've had issues in the past with these upper mounts The upper mounts just don't work right. Like I said before, if it had the original plastic fan shroud, the plastic fan shroud bolts to the bottom, and it also bolts to here, which kind of helps keep all this together. But since it doesn't have that, it wanted to fall forward. Now I'd even thought about using these and making a flat bar that went down to the bottom and up, but we have all this protruding outwards, so it was just going to look hokey. No matter what I come up with in my head, I couldn't come up with anything that looked right. And the only other option I had was I was going to totally fabricate my own upper mounts and use the new rubbers because they fit really well on the Radiator. And for the guys that want to know where I got these, because they fit exceptionally well on the bottom of the Radiator as well, I bought a whole set. I don't know if you can see it down there at the bottom. Amazon, $12 for a whole set. Radiator cushions is what they call them. So I bought a whole set. That's how they come, four to a pack. The upper ones, I probably just leave them alone. These are just, like I said, factory GM ones. They fit really nice just the way it works. So I'm going to leave that alone. But hopefully that gives you guys a little something. And so now that I've got that in, I get my hoses on. We'll straighten this mess out. This is all my headlight harness. These here, this truck has a Hydro Boost. So your power steering runs your power brakes. So I got to mount all this up on the fender well real nice and neat. I got to finish mounting. Well, I got my heater hoses. This stuff here, this goes over to the battery. And then this wire goes over to my solenoid. And there's a battery wire here. And that's all for the winch. This truck has an electric factory Ramsey winch because this truck is automatic, so there's no PTO to run the winch. Most of these old wreckers, the PTO runs off the transmission. Most of them are manual. Some trucks did have hydraulics, and you would have a hydraulic pump mount on the motor. This did not. This just has an electric 12-volt, it looks like a starter motor. It runs the winch. Kind of cool. That's kind of why I like this truck. Automatic. I'm going to put tilt wheel in it because I've got a nice automatic tilt wheel column for square body Chevy that has the wipers here. I took this all apart to clean it. I mounted a temperature gauge and a oil pressure gauge there, and then that other wire I was showing in the hood that goes to all this, which is this turns the power on to run the winch, and of course you got your lights and garbage. So all that stuff I'm probably going to rewire because they're just, these old tow trucks, almost all of them, the wiring is horrible in them. This one isn't too hateful. It's got a handful of boogers, but it's not that bad. We'll straighten it out. So look, I'm going to jump off here and do something. It's a little windy out here today for some reason, but it is what it is. It's beach life. How'd your boy? Keep it reals.